All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, well, what's happening? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo'S Wrestling Room. Tuesday, December 26, 2023. Different night than usual because of the holiday yesterday. But I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzo'S and Marcus Fine. How's it going, guys?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there, trying to at least. Well, I guess we'll get started with the independent wrestling report. We was at a couple shows this weekend. Was at WCWO Friday and Saturday. Marcus was there also. We had Cagemas on Friday and Spin the Wheel on Saturday. Marcus, what did you think of the Cagemas?
Well, I enjoyed Cagemas. I was kind of a couple unique finishes for cage matches that I was intrigued by, I guess, because you never see cage matches in like that. But it was a good event, though. Packed house. They were,
Yeah.
they were packing them wherever they can get them. I don't know if they turned anybody away at the door, but buddy, they were
hanging from the rafters.
I'll say that, literally hanging off the rafters.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, there were some good matches. We had Cecil Cerveza in the first match up against Zay Gates. Zay Gates won the match. Zay Gates is the champion. He is the Gunslinger champion. Cecil had a good effort, but just couldn't quite overcome Zay. So Zay hung on to that title. After that, we had the Buck Sexton taking on Jake Elliott. Another pretty good match, which Buck coming out the victor. Also, start the show. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot we had Santa Pete against Reggie the Grinch. And Reggie the Grinch got the Santa face and also got pinned. So good for Santa Pete.
Yeah, but then he threatened me with this. He threatened me with the Santa face.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I thought Kelly put him up with that because the minute he said that, she started losing it. It's like, you put him up to that, didn't you? It's like, I still think it was a conspiracy, but anyhow.
Match number 3, we had the gauntlet match with Timmy Turner. Is it not Turner? No, it was Timmy, the other Timmy.
Timmy Jackson.
Timmy Jackson. David Light. We had Maleko. See who else we had. Waterboy, Max Sterling,
and Hammer.
Them were the 6, and coming out with that victory, if I remember correctly, was Mac.
Yep, Mac.
Mac won that. It was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. I thought David Light really performed well in that, but I thought it was a real good gauntlet match. I really enjoyed it. Next up, we had Brody Botkins taking on Kenneth James. I thought that was real good. Enjoyed that match. Kenneth James held on to his territorial title. Next up, we had Jackson Morgan and Jake Phoenix in tag team action against Pogo and Scarecrow. And Jackson Morgan and Jake Phoenix won that. Another good match. Then we had TJ Powers and JKO in a cage match. And it started off, they were all over the place before they even got in the cage. And TJ Powers pulled out that victory, and he claims he's the new chairman of the board, basically. So we'll see where that goes. And then in the main event, we had Hadari against Jordan James for the Gunslinger Championship, and Jordan James retained it. And Outlaw Championship. I get them confused. There's so many. In the Outlaw Championship, and it was a great match. I know Marcus really enjoyed it.
Match of the year, one of the matches of the year, not the match of the year, but in the top 5.
But it was very good, a really good show. Really enjoyed it. We'll be putting that out on our airways here in the near future. And then Saturday night, I don't have all the results, but I'll just say it was a real good show. Was there anything? Okay, Marcus, you want to go ahead and?
Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Well, that's what I called it. Basically, they spun the wheel, and nobody knew who had who until that wheel come up. And I will tell you, it was a different vibe in the arena Saturday. It was a good, fun time. The entire crowd was was talking back and forth, and it was a fun night.
Fun show.
Yeah, because of the way they presented that, we get to laugh at it. So Jackson Morgan defeated Maliko, which would have been a main event literally anywhere. That's the first one that came up off the wheel. That's how they had to open the show, was Jackson Morgan and Maliko, and it's like, my goodness, they could have main evented that. But Jackson Morgan won that. Second match was TJ Powers. He defeated Timmy Turner in a very quick match. Then Zay Gates defeated the Water Boy in a very quick match. And then a match that I didn't know where it was going, but it turned out very funny. Hadari versus Pogo. That should have been dubbed the biting match, I guess, because they got the chewing on each other.
yeah. Pogo made a whole meal out of Hadari. He's biting his boobs and his belly and his arms and pretty much everything just about.
So I got to laughing because you guys were in the back, and I told Kelly, I says, I wonder how they're commentating this when Pogo's out there chewing on Hadari, and Hadari's chewing back. But Hadari come out at the top of it, and then they intermission, and then they had 2 people left on the wheel, and that was Kenneth James defeated Cecil Cerveza in the match after intermission. And then they decided they were going to do one tag team, and those teams would be determined by what the spin of the wheel was. So poor old Cecil then turned around after he got beat up by Kenneth James, had to come right back out.
Yep.
And take on and team with Zay Gates, who he lost to the night before. And they took on Timmy Turner and Pogo. And Timmy Turner and Pogo won that because Zay Gates and Cecil Cerveza couldn't get on the same page, I think, because they were fighting each other.
Yes.
And then the main event, Jordan James defeated David Light, and that was the main event. They had that plan. That wasn't a wheel decision. That was what they come up with for the main event. But yeah, we're thinking 30 people Saturday, but boy, were we having a good time out there. So
definitely, and poor Cecil had a bad night.
Yeah, Cecil had a bad weekend.
That's true.
I hope he had a good Christmas day yesterday because he had a bad weekend.
Yeah.
Friday night didn't work out for him against Zay, and then Saturday the match didn't work out for him. And him and Zay were still going at it.
Yeah, I hope he had a better Christmas than I did. And mine could have been worse because I had to go out to the emergency room, and luckily I was only there for 4 hours. I was worried that I was going to be there for 10 or 11 or 12 hours, or maybe even be admitted, but I was only there for 3 or 4 hours, so it could have been a lot worse. Well, moving on, we've got our wrestling report, pro wrestling report. Started off with Monday Night Raw. Started off with R-Truth coming out, and he thinks he's part of the Judgment Day, and he's not. But they was arguing back and forth, and it was very funny. He's gold, and he asked for a match against J.D. McDonough, and the loser of the match has to leave the Judgment Day. Well, R-Truth ended up pinning J.D. McDonough, and but he's not out of because there was never any official stipulation, but of course that didn't stop them in the Judgment Day messing with McDonough a little bit, teasing him a little bit. But it was very funny match, very funny opening of the show. Also on the show that stood out, we had Balor and Priest against the Creed brothers in the main event for the WWE Championship. I tell you what, the Creed brothers have just done outstanding since they've came to the main roster. They did not win the tag titles, but I sure thought they were a few times. It was a really good match. Match of the week was also on that show. It was Gunther versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. It was better than the pay-per-view match they had here a while back. This was outstanding, really good. And also in the women's tag team division, Carter and Chance are the new tag team champions. They defeated Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Raw was an outstanding show. Really good. Also, NWA Power next up, I thought was probably the best show that I've seen them do on Power. I really enjoyed the show. One thing that killed it for me a little bit, Marcus has complained about this before. We had Mims in the match for the TV title against Dak Draper, and they used to be tag team partners. That 6:05 time limit just kind of killed it for me because it was a really good match and just heating it up, and it went to a time limit draw.
Well, in the last minute of it, Mims was standing on the outside of the ring. So
yes, yeah, they got to change that, I think. Then we had we had a mixed tag match, and Markova pinned Camille in that. It was Markova and I'm trying to remember the other guy's name here.
Oh, you'll have to do the names. I didn't write those down, but
I can't.
It was a good tag team.
It was good. It's Tom Latimer and Camille against Markova, and I can't even read my other handwriting. I'm so terrible. So that's terrible.
Well, it was a Texas death match, though, and it wasn't, because should have been more like a tornado, because there was no weapons, or they were outside the ring and inside the ring, but there's nothing that would be a death match. But it was a very good match. I was impressed with it.
Yes, it was good. And then we had the Southern Six beat the Miserably Faithful, and that was a really good match, six man match. Like I said, it was a real good show. People that haven't checked out NWA Power, you can check it out for free on YouTube. And it was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
They got a new one that come out today at 6:05, I believe. I haven't got to see it yet, though. Moving on to NXT. It was a really good show. Match of the night on there was Dragon Lee defeated Dempsey. Dempsey is the son of having trouble with names, Chris. See if you can help me. Guy used to be general manager of NXT.
The little small guy?
No, English guy.
I think we're thinking the same guy.
And he left Regal.
Regal?
Yeah, Dempsey is Regal's son.
Oh, Regal.
Yeah.
I was thinking that other guy that kept doing it.
Regal.
Yeah, William Regal. And Dempsey's really good wrestler. It was a really
Hypocrisy says Dempsey going to Japan.
Yes, he's going to Japan. NXT is going to be over in All Japan. They worked out a deal, so he's going over to wrestle over there. So that's interesting. Also, in that Dempsey match with Dragon Lee, that was a 3-way with Joe Coffey. It was the match of the night on there. It was real good. And then also had Dragunov versus Ridge Holland. The match was stopped due to injury, but it's also storyline. Ridge Holland was the one that hurt Big E. Well, he was involved in that match when Big E got hurt. I'm not saying he hurt him, because Big E's come out and said he was just as much responsible for that injury as Holland was. But they're making this a storyline. What do you guys think? That's a good idea? That he dropped him on his head, and they're making it into a storyline.
Depends on how they play it.
Yeah, some people have been upset about it. There's been a lot of that need some butt cream, but people on the internet's been bitching and complaining about this.
They got to play it right.
Yeah. So we'll see where that goes with that. Dynamite. The matches that stood out to me on Dynamite was Swerve Strickland, which he's been standing out to me. He took on Rush, and it was really good. Or Roosh. I think Roosh is somebody that they need to build around, which they are starting to build around Swerve Strickland. I thought his mic time on Dynamite was excellent with MJF. Also a really good match. I thought was the match of the night was Briscoe and Lethal. I thought it was outstanding. And also MJF and Samoa Joe's confrontation was decent, but I didn't think MJF was his best in that confrontation. But I did like his stuff with Swerve Strickland. Dynamite was a good show. Then we went to SmackDown. Very good show. I still trying to decide which I thought the show of the week was, Raw or SmackDown. I really like both of them a lot. But on SmackDown, had Santos Escobar defeating Bobby Lashley in the U.S. tournament semifinals to be the number one contender. And the other semifinals match, Kevin Owens defeated Carmelo Hayes. That was a really good match. But the match of the night was Dragon Lee defeating Butch in the NXT North American Championship. I like the fact that NXT has been on all shows and moving people around. I think that's very smart. The show opened. This is something you would like, Marcus. It was kind of a anything goes match. It was an 8-woman tag team match. Shotzi, Mia Yim, Bianca Belair, and Selena Vega against Bailey, Kairi Sane, and Leo Sky and Asuka. Actually, Shotzi's team won with Mia Yim getting the pinfall on the champion, Kairi Sane. So it was a really good match. And then we had the closed show with AJ Styles and Solo Sikoa. And ended up a DQ when Roman Reigns attacked AJ Styles. So I thought it was a real good show. I don't know. I can't decide. I almost give it to Raw because it really entertained me, and it's 3 hours long. And when you can do a really good show and be 3 hours, so I might give them the nod.
Hypocrisy had asked what you think about the parallels to real life in that, talking about the Big E.
I think that's where they're going. I think they're trying to go do the realism stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm sure they got Big E's approval to do it. I'm sure they talked to Holland.
Austin said get good way to get him over possibly because fans hate the Big E situation.
Yeah, they're trying. We'll see what they can do. Yeah, he's had a hard time. The fans don't like Holland because of that. So maybe they're going to try to make him a baby face. Maybe they're going to try to make him a huge heel. I don't know where they're going with it. So we'll see where that goes. We're talking about football. Yeah. One thing real quick I just seen before I come on the air, and I want you to get you guys' opinion. Of course, I just lost it, so I'm not going to be able to do it. I might be able to find it. We can talk about it next week. It was about Sports Illustrated just released their top matches and top wrestlers and stuff of the year. But it disappeared on my feed, so. But I do have some other stuff here. Charlotte Flair, also Dominic Mysterio and Bailey. And it's also being reported that Cody Rhodes have all signed new deals, long-term deals with WWE. So I think that's smart by WWE to get these guys tied up. I know Becky Lynch says she has not re-signed yet, but she's not going anywhere. She plans on staying there. So, and I'm sure Seth Rollins, I think he's a lifer too. So I think it's smart for them to get those people tied up for the future. Another thing, Triple H is now in charge of the WWE Hall of Fame. No more Vince McMahon being in charge. He's not got anything to do with that. Is there anybody off the top of your head that you could think you would like to see that's not in, that you think should be in? Who would that be?
Well, Owen Hart, but I doubt that'll ever happen.
Yeah, Owen Hart for sure. But yeah, she won't allow it.
Cyndi Lauper ought to be in there somewhere as one of the celebrities because
I agree.
Where we're at today.
China going in by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Hypocrisy said China. Austin said Victoria.
Yeah.
Glenn said Ted Turner, laughing my ass off.
Well, you might as well. Ted Turner, if you think deep into that.
I'm trying to think of somebody that's not in that, one of the old timers.
Well, Demolition should go in.
Yeah.
And
some of them guys.
Kim Patera.
With him being in charge, with these guys that had the lawsuit against WWE, that may change now with Triple H. I mean, Triple H has been the guy to be able to mend fences and let things go. And Vince McMahon did that too. I mean, he mended fences too. I mean, so I mean, anything can happen.
A little note of history. Today is the 40th anniversary of Sheik beating Bob Backlund. That came up on my newsfeed today. And we all know where that went. In just a few weeks, Hogan and Hulkamania will be 40 years old here in a few weeks. So,
oh, cool. The Pope is going to be interviewing Victoria on his podcast. Here's some interesting stuff too. I thought was pretty interesting. Quarterly viewership year over year for all the shows: NXT, Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage. NXT in the first quarter of 2023 had a 5% increase. The second quarter, 23% increase. Third quarter, 40% increase, and the fourth quarter, 48% increase. So NXT probably doing as good as anybody so far as increasing in viewership.
Sure sounds like
Raw,
it.
Raw in the first quarter was 13% up. The second quarter, 19% up. Third quarter, not as quite up, 3%. And the fourth quarter, 12%. SmackDown, the first quarter was up 7%. Second quarter, 25%. Third quarter, 23%. And fourth quarter, 10%. AEW Dynamite, minus 23% in the first quarter, minus 14% in the second quarter, minus 10 in the third, and minus 10 in the fourth. Rampage, first quarter, minus 40, first quarter, minus 23 in the second quarter, minus 18 in the third, and minus 18 in the fourth. So AEW's got to find a way to fix the viewership, and I do not know the answer because I think once it declines, I don't know. I mean, WCW never could get it back.
No.
I don't know if they can.
They're going to have to come up with something like an NWO type of thing to get it. But then, I mean, they're really going to have to think about it. I don't see it happening.
Austin said NXT the most consistent show in quality by far to him.
I thought that a couple months ago, but Raw and SmackDown has really got more consistent too in the last couple months. But yeah, NXT's for the whole year has probably been the most consistent, and they got really good writing, really do good with their characters. Stuff makes sense. So I don't disagree with that.
Billy says Iron Mike Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think he's in.
No, I don't think so either.
And he's one of the more famous guys who would lose a lot on TV.
Once he's, you know, if you go further back though, he was a season champ. So
he was a very good wrestler. Brooklyn Brawler was very good. Johnny Rods was very good. Special Delivery Jones was very good. And next up, not going to be a real long show today. I've got somewhere I got to be, unfortunately. But I do have some stuff here and see what you guys think about it. I've got the top 20 WWE wrestlers in wins. This was updated on September 12th, 2023. This was done by Sportster. I'm going to give you the number 20. Number 20 on that list with 995 wins is Roman Reigns. Who do you guys think is number one in wins? This is all time, guys. And this is for WWE. Who do you guys think number one is?
Seth.
Chris, you got a guess?
All time?
Yep.
All time. Okay, well, I might change it a little bit. Let's see.
I'm going to say
Brock Lesnar. You mean all time, like their entire career?
Yeah, all time career. This is wins.
So you mean like maybe the Undertaker, since he had like a 30-year run?
He's up there pretty high, but he's not number one.
Okay, well, mine was Brock Lesnar. That'd be my guess. That's probably not right either.
I'm gonna say Hogan.
Okay, Hogan is number 5 on the list with 1,574. Undertaker is number 2 on the list with 1,836 wins.
Flair.
Well, Flair didn't have it. This is WWE, so Flair didn't have.
Okay. Yeah,
Also
that really,
says Randy Orton.
Orton, let's see here where Randy Orton is. Randy Orton was 15 on the list with 1,274 wins.
Billy says Backlund.
Let me see where Backlund's at if he's on this list here.
well, it's probably Bruno. Got to think long term.
Well, Bruno was number 8 on the list. 1,486 wins.
14. Let's cipher this out.
Orton was 1,274. Triple H, let's see.
Yeah, Glenn and Austin both said
Triple H was number 19 on the list with 1,032 wins. Seth Rollins had number 18 with 1,045 wins. Number 17 on the list is Sheamus with 1,113 wins. I'm gonna give you guys a number one. Anybody else got a guess out there? Okay. Kane. Let's see, is Kane on here? Kane is number 6 on the list with 1,565 wins. John Cena is 3rd on the list with 1,787 wins.
What was number 2?
Number
Taker?
2 was Taker.
With how many?
1,836 wins. Okay, Backlund. Let me see if Backlund's on this list. It's hard to believe, but Backlund is not on this list.
So he's not top 20.
Not top 20. Number 1 on the list was Bret the Hitman Hart with 1,882 wins. Shawn Michaels was number 11 on the list with 1,433 wins. Now, they also had their losses to give you.
That's their full career?
Yes. I think that would be house show matches and everything.
Well, I can't believe Bruno isn't farther up than Brad. He had a much longer.
Yeah, Bruno had 1,486 wins. The thing about Bruno was, though, let me see, he's not the highest, but he was like maybe second highest as far as percentage wins. Bruno had all those wins, but he only had 274 losses. Where Bret Hart had 1,882 wins, but he also had 765 losses. He only had a 63% win rate.
Well, then Roman Reigns, if he had stayed on track, he could have been number 1. Because when you only had 12 matches this year.
Well, he's at 73%. Undertaker's at 74% with wins and losses. But who was my number 1 guy with the wins and losses? John Cena. John Cena had 1,787 wins, only 429 losses for 78%. Yeah, number 1 as far as percentage go was Cena. Number 2 was Bruno. Number 3 was Taker. It was a tie for number 3 with Taker and Hogan. And then, because that'd be 3 and 4, and 5 was Roman Reigns with 73%. As far as wins and losses, 995 wins and 333 losses.
So if you had a guy go, I'm splitting hairs here. Well, of course, you went with the total number.
Yep.
Because a guy could walk in there and have 3 matches and win them all. He'd be at 100%, but it wouldn't hit the 1,000 marks. Never mind.
Now, I don't have the most wins of tag teams. I have to look that up, though. That's a good idea. But I also got here, guys, who's got the most losses in the WWE? I got the top 10 most losses in the WWE history. Who do you think number 1?
Brooklyn Brawler, number 1.
Number 3.
Number 3.
1,204 losses.
S.D. Jones. I'm trying to think these jobbers out.
Well, not in the top 10.
Austin said Kane.
Kane is number 2, 1,226 losses. This is as of November 15th, 2023.
Well, because I wouldn't have put Kane in that list. That's amazing.
I'm gonna give you 10.
Austin says Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, I'm gonna give you guys 10 through 2, and then once you have those, see if we can come up with number 1. Number 10 was Jack Swagger, 838 losses. Number 9, Kofi Kingston, 874 losses. Number 8, Sheamus, 879 losses. Number 7, Cody Rhodes, 888 losses. Number 6, Big Show, 910 losses. Number 5, Randy Orton, 1,038 losses. Number 4, Dolph Ziggler, 1,187 losses. Number 3, Brooklyn Brawler, 1,204. And number 2, Kane, 1,226. Guys, who's number 1? And Austin got it.
Miz?
The Miz, 1,294 losses.
That's funny. The Brooklyn Brawlers even on that list then compared to those other guys.
If you look at the names on that list, it just goes to show you that Losses don't matter.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, they don't. In the top 20 here, here's the top 20 guys. Number first wins. 20 was Roman Reigns. 19 was Triple H. 18 was Seth Rollins. 17 was Sheamus. 16 was Dean Ambrose. I don't count Moxley stuff at AEW. 15 Randy Orton. 14 Kofi Kingston. 13 Matt Hardy. 12 AJ Styles. That Matt Hardy one that surprised me. Number 12 was AJ Styles. Number 11 Shawn Michaels. 10 Big Show. 9 British Bulldog. Davey Boy Smith. 8 Bruno Sammartino. Bulldog surprised me, a single competitor to have that many wins. He had 1,478 wins. 8 Bruno, 7 Rey Mysterio, 6 Kane, 5 Hulk Hogan, 1,574 wins. Tito Santana, 1,783. That's number 4. 3 was Cena, 2 was Undertaker, and 1 was Bret Hart.
Wow. It's good to see Tito made that list.
Yeah. Well, Tito was a workhorse for him.
Yeah, I know. He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
I'll tell you a name that surprised me he's not on there. Randy Savage.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was a heel, so he probably didn't win a lot.
Well, what about Superstar Billy Graham, too? I mean, there's...
Yeah.
And like I said, Bob Backlund, that surprises me. He had the belt for 5-6 years. You'd think he would have had it.
Yeah, you would think so. But maybe I mean, I don't know how long it sure seems like he would have been up there. Yeah, I don't know about Brower.
Hey, how's it going, Justin Danger?
And yeah, I'd like to do the tag teams, most wins.
And the women.
And I like to do the women. So I might look that up for next week. Well, guys, that's all I've got for today. I've got somewhere I need to go, unfortunately.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room as well. Excuse me.
Choke.
We did record the 2 WCWO shows over the weekend. We'll be airing them here real soon. We'll let everybody know when. I'll get that figured out tonight or tomorrow. And then we're doing Tuesday next week.
Yes.
As well.
Yes, Tuesday next week.
And then Tuesday next week instead of Monday. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is G.W.R. show. They've been trying to get me on this podcast forever, and this is the worst damn podcast I've ever been on. So you all kiss my ass while I win this match.